So we're talking about taking away the standard play-to-pay games that you find on the computer and the and console. Now, according to Coivisto, going by a survey that was done back in 2013, mobile games accounted for 23% of total computer gaming revenue. This suggests that the mobile gaming industry might grow up to 35.6 billion US dollars by the end of 2007 alone. So, as a consequence, the video game industry, including the games played via computers, is likely to grow over 110 billion US dollars, contributing a compound annual growth rate of about just over 19% between the years 2013 to 2017, so only in just a space of 4 years. Now, regarding to the revenue for free-to-play games, it has been actually on the rise because of the increasing number of people willing to pay for these. That the number of individuals playing for mobile games as a whole in the whole world has actually reached about 6.2 billion by the year 2014. However, the growth rate could only be established in mobile games market if the number of people and the amount of money they pay to play the games and the time they spend playing such games were all considered as key indicators. Of course, I can carry on going on and on about this, but as I'm aware of time, and there's so much I can come to talk about, so I'm just going to quickly skip to the next part. So I did some bit of data gathering, and now initially I wanted to get some interviews done from actual game companies. They haven't yet got back to me, but however, what I've done is I've found some forums for free-to-play games, and I've done a bit of gathered some participants for a bit of question and answering sessions. So I've, as an example, I've put two here. So I've called them Participant A and Participant B, mainly because that they've asked me not to disclose any of their personal info, which includes their names. So as a sign of respect, obviously. So for this research, I'm not going to provide that. Instead, we're going to call them Participant A and Participant B. Now, Participant A, this lady was a 40-year-old female in the UK. So this particular participant I found it rather interesting because although she's not that much of an avid free-to-play gamer, I mean she only plays maybe 3 or 4 free-to-play games on her phone, but she does play them on a daily basis. And one thing I found interesting about this lady was because of the human psychology, which goes again back to what we discussed earlier in regards to developers using human psychology when it comes to the designing their games and the game mechanics. So for this lady, one of the things she likes to play are the online slot machines on her mobile phone, and she told me one of the reasons why she enjoys playing them is because, first of all, they have fun sounds. So all these ringing of bells and clings and clangs, she actually quite likes them and finds them rather fun and fascinating and exciting. She mentioned to me, it's kind of like going to somewhere like Las Vegas, being in a casino, but doing it at the comfort of your own home instead of being out there, which is, again, from a human psychological perspective, is understandable. And then she also talked about the different light effects that these things have, and the sound effects, the fact that they provide free spins. So and the daily login bonus. What they mean by daily login bonus is that she told me, like, when every day when she logs into these to these slot games, it rewards her with certain amount of daily free spins, and it is because of these so-called rewards is one of the reasons why she keeps going back to that game, even though she knows she's not winning real money and this is all just a game. But for her, from what I've noticed, from a psychological perspective, for her that is actual fun, and she wants to carry on enjoying it until eventually she gets bored. Now, participant B, a male, this chap, a male, age 29, living in the US. I came across him because I knew him from playing Mobile Strike on my phone, and he also agreed to participate in this bit of a Q&A session. So he's actually an avid gamer, and he has quite a number of free-to-play games on his phone. And the Mobile Strike being one of his favorites. So one of the things he told me was that one of the reasons why he likes free-to-play games is because tutorials are made very easy. So he mentioned to me that when he installs a new game and plays them, at the beginning he goes for a few minutes of tutorial sessions, and with the tutorials it's very, very easy, because it literally shows you. Rather than providing you with just a booklet instruction, it actually shows you where to go and what to do, and that way then you understand how the game works. He says he loves the rewards that the game provides. Again, same. He likes the daily logins, and he likes the different competitions and tournaments that the game brings. He does want more rewards, so that's one of the reasons why he pays money. So he actually is willing to part with his money to pay to get these certain advantages where a normal player that doesn't want to pay would not receive. And in exchange for his money, he wants these advantages. He wants to, for him, it gives him that feeling of VIP, that exclusivity that only comes by him paying, even if it's a small amount, such as 99 cents or 99p. That still gives him a kind of a godlike feeling, so to speak. Push notifications keeps them up to date. Push notifications is another one of the things that a lot of these free-to-play games use probably the most in terms of player retention. Is so on your phone you get the game itself will send its own automated text messages, you can say, and they're generally accompanied by by their own unique sound system. So one might be a ring of a bell, one might be a roar of a lion, anything to grab the user's attention, and they use these techniques to for their player retention strategies, because they use these to bring the player back to them so they carry on playing. Another thing that this gentleman added was he does actually play Candy Crush. Why? Because he likes candy, which is funny at the beginning when you hear it, but in a way it makes sense, because just like children like candy and sweet things, I suppose having a user interface and playing with candy, it does. I can see the strategy behind that. Using candy, using food as a way of getting people to interact, to play the game. Now, moving on, I'm just going to quickly skip to these two phases. So this is a table. Again, this table you can find on a very good article which I've used for my research. I'll show that to you later. So this is just a quick breakdown of free-to-play games. So it's based on 8 categories with specific concentration points being on first-time experience, game mechanics, audio visuals, narrativity, sociability, monetization, player bugs, and returning to the game. So one interesting thing you find with this is that none of the high Metascore games, again I told you that it uses push notifications, and mobile free-to-play games receive lower critic scores on average but dominate the top ranks of the grossing list, which so in other words, actually, even though they're less critically, they're less acclaimed compared to the high Metascores one, but they actually are making more money for the companies. Again, there's so much stuff I can talk about, so much I can do, but time is of the essence, so I'm gonna skip to the next bit, which is Goodreads. So again, with my research, still carry on doing research. I'm just in the middle of doing the results section. This is a list of some of the articles which I have, some of the articles which I've used, and research papers which I've used for my work. So I do highly recommend that you also have a look into these. Those of you interested, you find they're very good reads. thank you very much, and thank you for listening. Take care.